Welcome to another episode of Derrick Muhammad Show. I'm your host, Derrick Muhammad, and I got a special guest. Look, she's a good friend of mine. We've been like cool ever since I met her. It seemed like we've known each other for 20 years, and we probably only known each other for about a year or so. But nevertheless, I'm bringing to my good friend, the talented, the beautiful, the brilliant Carolyn Griffey.
Oh,
what's up, Carolyn Griffey?
What's going on, DM?
So look, Carolyn, all right. So for some of my people who may not know who you are, would you share with them who you are so they can come up to date, come up to speed so we can get this interview going?
Oh my goodness, I am absolutely nobody. I guess this man just asked me to come. I'm just kidding. My name is Carolyn Griffey. I am the daughter of Dick Griffey, the late Dick Griffey, founder of Solar Records, which emanated from Soul Train Records, and the daughter of Carrie Lucas. I am also the female lead singer and trademark owner of the award-winning group Shalamar, featuring Howard Hewitt and Jeffrey Daniel.
Woo! That's what I'm talking about, huh?
And of the whole Solar Legacy Dynasty mess.
Hey, the late, great Dick Griffey, but we'll talk about him a little later, okay? Mm-hmm. So now, okay, thank you for coming on because we all got quarantine time. I ain't had a chance to groom myself, and I thank you for showing up because a lot of people are like, nah, Derrick, strictly audio. And you was like, kind of, we can do a Zoom. I was like, go ahead with your bad self, Carolyn. Go ahead with your bad.
Well, you know what? And as we talked beforehand, people have that do know of me versus knowing me. There's a persona, in Hollywood that we give when we're out and we're smiling and we put that face on. And there's that 100. I'm your girl.
That's what's up.
Strictly 100.
And you know what? When I met you, we've been hitting it off like homies. And I was like, I mess with Carolyn Griffey. She dope. That's my girl right
there. But the crazy thing is, I felt so crazy. Guys, listen to this. When Derrick and I had been talking and communicating before we even met.
Right.
But when I met him, I saw him and it was like, hey, oh my goodness. And we embraced and we hung out. It was he and Karen White and our guys and Guy and Teddy, just the whole crew. And then afterwards, it wasn't until was it later on that night?
Yeah, something like that.
You messaged me like, God, it was so good to see you. And then Derrick Muhammad on my phone, I was like, oh. I was so embarrassed.
You had to put two and two together like, oh, that's it.
I knew you. The voice was familiar. The face was familiar. But when I saw you, it was like like you said, we've known each other from way back.
Right.
So it was that connection. So I was so confused. I'm embarrassed.
It was all good.
I said, you know what? I don't have any shame in my game, honey. You can't embarrass me. I'll embarrass you before you embarrass me.
Hey, it's all good because like kindred spirits, they just don't even have to like know each other. You just hit it off just like that.
Right.
So look, all right. You are the lead singer of Shalamar. Tell us about that because we love Shalamar.
I love Shalamar. Actually, the funny thing is, growing up, Shalamar was my favorite group in the world. And everybody teases me, especially Howard still teases me. Because when Howard came into the group, oh my gosh, I was like, I was in love. Like Howard Hewitt was my Michael Jackson. Like, Michael was still Michael.
Yeah.
But I got nervous when he came around and I had the hugest crush. Plus, I was in love with the group and I was friends with all of them. Like Jody Watley's little sister and I were best friends growing up. And Jeffrey used to come pick me up and take me roller skate. It's like they were family. But when Howard came into the group and they came out with second time around, it was like, I used to wear Shalamar pins. People teased me because I was a Shalamar groupie.
Wow.
And even when the group broke up and I went through my day, I mean, literally, I was like one of those goth kids. I slept in my room. I was depressed. I wouldn't eat. I was acting like one of those little Beverly Hills kids that needed a psychotherapist. After I got over it and met Mickey Free and Delisa, I became very close with them. And I got to be in the video. I was always around. And I was a Shalamar groupie.
Wow. Look at that. Now you got the trademark. You sing.
Well, two parts.
Two parts. Okay.
Two parts.
You got the UK trademark.
I have the EU trademark.
The EU, Europe.
Yeah, but lost the United States by default. Not because it's rightfully owned, but because our lawyer was horrible.
Oh, okay. Boo to the lawyer, right?
Oh no, he did a horrible job, because the thing, if you think about it, you know what? Solar was created by my father. Soul Train Records was owned by he and Don. Don didn't want to do it anymore, so he paid cash for his part of it. Started Solar Records, but he started Shalamar.
Wow.
So anybody that comes into a group and you know about that kind of stuff, it's like, look at the trademark law. Lakeside came as Lakeside. The Whispers came as the Whispers.
Right.
Shalamar was created, and every person in Shalamar was handpicked. So I would never say a work for hire, but technically, when you come into a situation, that's what it is.
Your talent for hire.
But you never have a right to ownership.
Right.
And I'll leave it there.
Right. You know what? I love the fact, because Solar was like the first LaFace. They was like the first bad boy of R&B. Correct?
Absolutely.
I mean, I remember, like, okay, Clarence Avon had Taboo.
Right.
Solar had the Whispers, Shalamar, Lakeside. Go on how that happened, and the careers he started, because he started legendary careers.
And you know what? And it's so funny, because even as you and I have talked about the legacy and different things, there's so much that is not on Wikipedia, as you said, that you can't find. He not only was responsible for careers in music, but I mean, there's a lot of first Black, and I say Black first because he actually was the one that coined the phrase African American. Jesse Jackson's campaign manager and financier at the time, and they were going on their tour, and there were times that he spoke and did speeches. And one of his speeches, and he was talking about how Arnold Schwarzenegger was German Australian American. He said Cesar Chavez was a Mexican American. He was like, everybody has a place to be but us. And he said we should be considered African Americans because we descend from Africa. That was a speech that he used, and that is how we all started gravitating from Black to African American.
Wow, look at that.
It wasn't just that. The Pan-African Film Festival, that gentleman came and told me that he mentored so many people. First Black, he's the first Black promoter to actually do an international tour, and that was Stevie Wonder, and he took him to Japan.
Wow.
And if you notice, he's the one that handed Al Heyman the concert promotion business.
Wow.
I mean, single-handedly. So there's so many things people do not. The first Black digital aggregator for Amazon and iTunes, June Moon told me himself. And these are people that have come to me and said, when we do, matter of fact, audiobook he offered, whenever we're ready to do this, they're all available to talk to interview, to give the history, and not so much just for him to be known and his legacy not to be buried. Because I believe, I was asking him before he passed to do a college tour, a Black college tour. I'm sorry, African-American college tour.
Black for the sake of words.
Black college tour, and he agreed to it. Because the thing is, it's such a rich heritage to show us as a people that, what we are capable of.
Right.
And it's before the computer age, we were able to do all the things on computers. These people broke ground with their bare hands, and they weren't asking for anything. They weren't asking for handouts. They hustled. And that's why even you and I were talking about earlier, it's like, people, oh, you grew up with a silver spoon in your mouth. Yeah, I did. But you know what? I got into real life, and the school of hard knocks hits you. And It's like, how can you survive? If you didn't have music, and I never knew my father was preparing me for such a time as this. We are in a pandemic where our entertainment industry as a whole has been shut down.
That's right.
And I've always had in my mind, what would you do if you couldn't sing? What would you do if you couldn't do this? I'm a hustler. I make it happen. So the thing is, listen, and you heard it here, if I got to do Instacart and make sure my daughter's taken care of, I would. We don't have to do those measures, but you know what? It's whatever this is reality. Now people get to see who they are and what they're made of.
You know what? I love the fact that you saying, look, even though you can sing, what if you can't sing no more? What you gonna do? Just like a ball player, if he got hurt and can't play no more, he gotta go to the next phase in life. And that's real talk right there, Carolyn. So,
but I mean, it's survival. And see, and Howard's a perfect example, not to put him on the spot, but he knows that Howard is the dearest thing to my heart. So anything I say out of love. But Howard did say this. I mean, we used to talk and he used to say, he's never done anything but sing. So he doesn't know anything else to do. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So people like Howard, it's not so much financially, but when you love what you do and then it's taken away from you, that messes with your psyche.
Oh yeah.
It's, you know, and I can imagine, I'm even talking to Teddy. Teddy was talking about the anxiety before he started going live.
Right.
He was talking about the anxiety of what to do now.
We're talking about Teddy Riley, right?
Teddy Riley, yeah.
Yes.
Now you and I both know Teddy will be locked up in his house, in his studio, and he doesn't sleep. He'll be in there for 2 days, sleep for 5 minutes, and go back for 2 days.
Right.
He's one of the hardest working men in show business. But you know what? There's something about a performer that when you can't perform, it's like you don't have your legs.
That's right. That is so true, because Michael Jackson was the same way. Prince. All the great ones have that thing. I mean, they just have to constantly create. So you're right. And they don't know no other way. And it could lead to a depression if they couldn't do what they was born or their purpose.
And you know, and I think that's kind of why I didn't go off. I did my dignified face. I did a post on Instagram when they had the little fallout, the Babyface versus Teddy Riley.
Yeah.
They're good friends. That was hype built to create excitement.
Yes.
But when I saw people going in on Teddy, like just disrespect. Now, and Teddy's a good guy. He laughed it off, but I was pissed.
Right.
I said, now, you know what? You guys are the first people to be on his jock when everything is great. But the moment somebody doesn't get something technical right, is that all it takes?
Fickle.
You turn your back?
Yes. People are fickle, and they don't even understand that most of them have never done or took a risk on anything. So it's easy to cast aspersions and criticize. Armchair quarterbacks, you know?
Absolutely.
But I told somebody, I was telling Karen this, I said, you know, the culture wins. The culture wins. How can you compare art anyway? We all won. Teddy won. Babyface won. Babyface only had 500,000 followers on IG. After that event, he went up to 1 million followers.
Absolutely.
Just on that event, and the culture wins. And that's what I was telling people. We all ain't about who's the best, what song. It's the culture, and that's what we have to preserve, the culture. Because they murdered R&B. Nobody is really promoting it. They hijacked. I got this part in my movie, Get on the Storm. Corporations bought up all the mom and pop radio stations. The labels all turned into pop, trap music, gangster rap music, and everybody a cookie cutter performer. Everybody sound like Drake, Rihanna, or Beyonce, and Nicki Minaj, right? No authentic personalities like Howard, like the OJs, like Teddy Penn.
Everything is manufactured.
It's manufactured with no soul.
Can I go a little deeper than that?
Go deep, girl. Go deep.
Okay. That's just like, as you know personally, what I'm dealing with. It's not, you are the first person that I've done an interview with that I'm going to say this out loud.
Woo!
Powers that be. That's just like, you have these companies, these amazing Black companies that have created the infrastructure for us as a Black or African Americans to grow up and be a part of the BET, the Soul Trains, and all this stuff. Can you imagine how it feels for me to have the history I had with Don Cornelius, with my father, and he working so closely all my life, and then to wake up and look at Soul Train do everything, and he's not mentioned anywhere?
Speak on that.
So the thing is, I can't necessarily blame it on the fact that Viacom, a white company, purchased it, and then you start staffing these, like BET. When you take over BET, you start staffing it with younger people that don't know the history.
Right.
All of the people that really sowed the seeds and laid the groundwork there are gone.
Yes.
people that know. So the thing is, I almost had to step back and not get so angry, like, how could you do that? And then the thing is, I realized that, you know what, some of it could be, is what we're seeing now. How deep can I go?
Go deep.
Some of it could be the blackball element. And
yes.
and you talk about too black, too strong. Now, when my father was alive, there weren't too many people that could touch him. He was almost like the dawn. And I've even had guys come to me now in my late life at 50 something, tell me, God, I wanted to date you so bad, but I was so afraid of your father. I mean, the reason I say that though, because we don't encompass that type of respect for people anymore. We don't even have, that's like God. If we can't respect God, if we don't have an element of fear, and in no way am I comparing the two, but it seemed like the moment he died, it's like people couldn't wait to continue to throw dirt on his grave. Mm-hmm. And it's another reason why it's one of the most unsung legacies, but one of the strongest, because, and what I mean by that is Clarence Avant, a lot of people come to me raving, they're mad because he took credit for this and that. And I have to say this, I love Clarence. I love Clarence and Jackie Avant. I grew up with Nicole and Alex, and we were all, even though our fathers were friendly rivals, we grew up together.
Right.
Matter of fact, Clarence and Jackie Avant babysat my first son, Curtis, when Nicole and I were off doing our thing. But the thing is, I had to learn to look at all the inconsistencies. Even Suge Knight did a documentary, and Dick Griffey's nowhere in it. Wow. How do you do a Compton's Most Wanted not mentioned? Matter of fact, I'm going to send you a little clip when we finish. Yes. And it single-handedly Dr. Dre talks about how my father was an integral part of the split up of NWA. Because he was trying to show them about the guy that they were with, that, telling them what he was doing and telling them how they could have been controlling their own interests. And when Dre went to Easy and said, man, look, this guy Dick Griffey told me that this is what we need to be doing. You got to let Jerry go. And he says, well, I guess this is it. I mean, he chose Jerry.
Right. He chose Jerry. Wow.
So, which, that was the beginning of, with Harry O and everything of Death Row Records. So. Wow. So be prepared. The things and little notes, we talk about from Soul Train Records to Death Row. That's a long.
Carolyn, I cannot wait for you to get everything together so you can put together the story and the legacy.
Me too.
Okay? Because time waits on no man, and wait broke the bridge.
Right. I will say this though.
I'm gonna start sending you an email or text every other day.
But you know what? I'll be honest. I'm an Aries. I'm hot-headed. I'm hard-headed. And I'm telling you, I was one of my father's biggest nightmares. And even though he loved me to death, but I always need a kick in the behind, because sometimes it's when you've been fighting as long as I have to try it little by little with people, of course, in tow, trying to help keep the legacy alive. When people are continually burying it, it has to be somebody that has a love for it, because you know what, even when I wake up with that dirt on my face, I dig myself out of it and I say, okay, what's another way we're going to continue to let this, let this manifest?
We have to tell our own stories, because if we don't, people
somebody else will tell them.
Yes, they would tell it, and they would put stank on it, or tell it wrong. Just for the mere fact about they digging up Michael Jackson. As great as Michael Jackson was and his legacy is, why would you pour dirt on him when they don't do that to Thomas Jefferson?
Right.
And he raped.
Yeah,
Michael Jackson didn't do none of that. You feel me?
No.
And if they say he went to court and was found innocent, but Thomas Jefferson, Ben Franklin, and George Washington, come on now. Ain't nobody burning no dollars.
All of those men you just mentioned are non-African American.
And we don't control our own. So that's why I tell people, we got to control our own legacy, our own, especially now, there's no excuse. There's no excuse now.
Well, actually, if you look at it this way, and I look at it like this, God is a jealous God, whichever one that we choose to worship, we all have. God is just the same, whether it's, but we have given so much attention to entertainment, to sports, to this, to that, to where this communication starts to get cut off because we're spending too much time on our phones doing this. We're doing this as soon as we get up. We're doing, everything. But how many of us are on our face in the morning? How many of us? So the thing is, right now, this and even like the conversation you and I had, you can cultivate your land. You can, plant gardens. You can
learn
get
a trade.
creative.
Right.
You can start writing. I even went and got a motif keyboard in here. I may even start writing some music when I never had time to do that.
Right.
I can now launch my the fitness part of what I do. Right. Because, I have a passion. I've watched my dad die because of bad habits. I've watched people in my family who suffered because they didn't really take good care of themselves. So to me, I look at people in the industry. I would love, my dream is, I want to do, how they do Pimp My Ride or Blink My Wedding or all these things. I want to do that for celebrities because Aretha didn't have to leave like that. Right. It broke my heart. It's like we have so many people we could save. And maybe now I'm looking at the fact that people are learning, okay, COVID doesn't really get you as much if you are a little bit more conditioned, if you're eating a little more healthier, if you're staying hydrated. See, you guys, I've been drinking out of this glass. This is what I drink out of every day.
It's not vodka, y'all.
It's not, but it's gin.
Right.
No, but the thing is, this to me, this is like God just dropping everything on my lap because it's like now it's not a fad, it's life. Right. You know what? To me, what I do for a living, even though I'm not getting paid, it's essential. Yes. Because it's a mission. So now you guys see, I am 51 and I can run faster, beat and lift probably more than most of these 25-year-old girls. And it's not about how I look, it's about the fact that my ministry is about fitness, is about wealth and health. And this is, look, you can lose all your money, but nobody can take this from you.
Go ahead.
So, and the thing is, but it's worse. I live in Memphis, Tennessee. It's the fattest city in America. Ooh. Highest in high blood pressure, highest in diabetes, Memphis, Tennessee. And the thing is, and people don't understand, I get upset when I see us not taking care of us because we're still eating that slave food that was thrown at us and not really educating ourselves about the things that we're supposed to be eating or not the things that we are putting in our body. Right. So to live in the Bible Belt and you've got all these people in these churches praising God and hallelujah. Okay, but did you forget about Daniel?
Yes.
Okay, because the thing is, it clearly talks about cleaning your temple and not eating meat and not eating certain things. And the thing is, you cannot exalt and glorify God with your body if you're throwing junk into your body. This is the temple.
Amen. We hit it on the head, Carolyn. Let me tell you something. The body is the temple. And why would you worry about your car when it's going to get old, but you don't take care of your good body? You're putting bad toxins in yourself. You hit it on the head with that.
When sisters come to me and they'll say, grab like their stomach, can you get rid of this? And my thing is, and I'm not being funny. Now this is bok choy and mushrooms. It doesn't look very appetizing, but this is how we do it. It's in the kitchen. Because the thing is, we want to get hair. We want to have nails out. That's why I love right now that girls cannot they can't get all that hair. They can't look, you guys look, see my nails? Feet aren't done, all that other stuff. It's back to basics. It's back to us. Yeah, I threw a little something in here. But the thing is, we're dressing ourselves up, but we're not addressing the issues.
Man, you go ahead with your best. I love the ministry. I love where you headed. I can't wait to see what you do with your fitness and workout nutrition. Go ahead. That's another thing.
I'm gonna have you on the show. You're gonna have to come.
Yeah, of course. And that's another thing I'm gonna be texting you every other day. Okay? Have you done it yet? Have you done it yet?
But you know what? I welcome that.
That's what's up. Okay, look, so I don't want to hold you much longer, but I do want to talk about what you got going on once this whole pandemic. Because y'all do UK every year, right? The O2 Arena?
Oh no, we Shalamar technically is in Europe about 5 months out of the year, 5 to 6 months out of the year. So the O2 is just one. We're in Spain. We have, we travel all over. And see, a lot of things, when people think of the UK, they just think London. London is like LA in the United States.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's a big country. Then there's, like I said, you've got Scotland, we've got Ireland, we're all over the place and we're hitting little cities. So you think about, Memphis, Nashville, we're all over. Wow. And you know what? I will say this, And we were just working on getting into some other territories. And I just said that we've got some stuff booked in Africa and South Africa.
Okay.
You know what? And surprisingly, and thank you, Lord, they haven't canceled. They just postponed and they're pushing it. They're still holding on to our dates.
Nice.
So I don't know how that's going to work out, but you know, I'll say this. This is a great time to reflect and to appreciate small things that we complain about. Because none of us ever thought that honestly, my grandmother's been talking about the last days all her life, and I never thought that I would even see a remnants of it. But you guys, you know, this is something we really need to rethink. And you know what? All of us can really be filmmakers right now.
Exactly.
All of us can be talk show hosts.
Yes.
We have an open platform now.
Yes.
But the thing is, don't get so caught up in doing this all day. And I'm talking to myself. See what God is trying. He's trying to reprogram us. He's reconditioning the earth.
Yes.
You know, they were talking, my friends were stuck in India. They're from India, but they live in London. They were saying, you know, they haven't seen the Himalayas in God knows how long. LA they don't have any smog right now.
Wow.
He is, you know what, it's like the earth is breathing. It's taking a reset.
Put it on pause. That's right.
But we're taking, even though financially it's hurting some of us, still there's things that we cannot get because we're moving so fast. And when he says be still, now we're having to be still, and we're having to find out who we are, good, bad, or indifferent. So we're either going to listen and grow, or and I hate to say it, some of us are going to realize who we are, and it's going to be a bad thing. Yes. So not that anybody asked for advice. My thing is, those of you that believe, get centered. Like I say, am I perfect? Heck no. Do I curse sometimes? Hell yeah. But I keep it 100. I'm 100 with myself. I don't pretend to be anybody that I'm not. What I am is I'm very loving and honest. And what I want for my kids, I want for anybody that's watching and listening to me. Right. Because you know what? I think we have just suffered at the hands of our own ignorance for so long.
Right.
Maybe this is an opportunity for us to be able to appreciate one another.
Right. Right.
You know?
Yes.
I see girls out in the street now, usually, you know, have attitudes and everything. Everybody's so nice. They're so glad to be outside. They just, hi, you don't even know them.
Right.
So I pray that we continue to adapt that. And even with Solar and what we're doing moving forward, Soul Train Records, by the way, we did win the lawsuit with BET and Viacom.
Congratulations.
Twice, thank you. And Soul Train Records is Restored Home, which a lot of people don't know, and we can talk about that later because, you know, that does rightfully belong home with us.
Right.
We're in the process of launching a lot of Soul Train Records, the clubs, all over Europe. And we had some contracts in Dubai. We had some contracts, and I think even Bahrain. I mean, they just were eating it up. Just the name and licensing and the things that we were about to do. Everything's put on pause, but we're working quietly while everything.
Man, look, Carolyn, congratulations on that, and rightfully so. I'm glad that you're carrying your father's legacy further and further into the future for your children as well. Your legacy and generation building. Right. And I got to get you back on the show, you know, and I wish you nothing but the best. We'll do some business in the future. From my mouth to God's ears, we're going to be successful in everything we do.
Well, I definitely want you a part of this. Like I say, you're the one, this man, you know what? I had offers, but this man came at me so hard. I was like, dang, is he going to come with an engagement ring? No, but I'm saying he just believed in the legacy, and he was like, look, the passion to want to do it. So right. I know that I never forgot that. And we definitely are going to be in talks about moving forward and how we can get this done.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. So look, thank you for your time. Thank you for coming on my show. Thank you. I wish you nothing but the best in the future for you, your family, Shalamar, and the business.
Thank you so much.
Okay. My girl, Carolyn Griffey, y'all.
Thank you so much. Love you guys.
All right. Until next time, tune in to the Derrick Muhammad Show.